o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
Okay, welcome back to Fish and a Rice Cake.
What's
I'm
going
Jake.
on? I'm
He's Jake,
Jake.
aka Dave, and we are back with another non-sciencey, ranty podcast of some sorts, which is fitness-ish related. Uh,
Fitness adjacent.
today isn't that fitnessy, is it? Which is why I said like
Yeah, I guess not.
to
Today's
a certain extent.
less than
It is to a
usual.
certain extent.
Do you know,
Yeah,
I took a poll, didn't I, on the whole Dave first name Jake thing at the talk that we did last year.
yeah,
And
yeah.
one person in a room of 150 people had the same situation. So it's
Well, they
definitely
were called their second. Yeah, it's definitely
where
not the
they
norm.
were get referred where they have a they get referred to by their second name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
definitely,
was
it's
what
definitely. We're just gonna have to start calling you Dave, mate. We're just gonna
should
have
have
to go.
start as though it's not been happening since the second I started
Yeah,
with
yeah.
biceps like 2 years ago.
Societal norms, like you need to change your name on Instagram, Dave Biceps and Banter.
Just
Do you
like
know? I was that's actually is my dad. Why were you called Dave? David? Was that like is that like a family name or?
I think so because my mum's dad's called David and
Okay.
my uncle's called David as well. So I assume because what actually is in my family is it's John. So like all the firstborn, it's such a traditional thing. I think this I'm right in saying it's all the firstborn men are called John. So like my granddad is John Brian Mees, but we've always called him Brian. My
Okay.
dad's John Stewart, but we've always called him Stewart. And
Really?
my elder brother's John Zach, but we call him Zach.
No way.
And then for me, they did David Jake. I assume after my mum's dad, who's on
Right. Okay.
called
Okay.
David.
So
And
it's
that doesn't
actually the
make sense.
norm in your family that people get called their second name rather than their first name.
Well, it is for me and Zach, but then my two younger brothers, Ben and Joe, they're referred to by their so Ben's name is Benjamin Bryan, and he gets called Ben,
Okay.
so that's his first name. And my youngest brother Joe is Joe Stewart, and he gets called Joe. So halfway
Okay.
through, they thought this isn't working. This is
Okay.
making
Yeah,
life more
we're just
difficult. We'll flip it.
actually,
Yeah, we,
yeah.
we won't change the two that we've already done. We'll leave that. Let them suffer. We'll just flip it for the other two, make their lives easier.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So have you never ever been called like so when you were a baby, when you were young, was it always Jake? Always Jake.
Literally from day one, it was Jake. They wanted to
Right.
call me honestly, yeah, so they wanted to have David in my name, I think after my mum's dad. But
Mhm.
they didn't like how Jake David sounded, but they liked how David Jake sounded. They thought it sounded nicer.
Yeah, David Jake flows better, doesn't it?
That's what they were saying. So they were like, we'll call him David Jake, but we will refer to him as Jake.
I mean,
Uh,
Jake's a great name. It's a great name.
fucking best name, isn't it? It's the best name.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were talking about baby names the other day. So as you'll all know, like we are very close to having our second child. And we don't know what we're having. Like we've got no idea.
By
We're
we, you mean you and Louise and not me and you, just for
yeah,
the
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe new
Just
to
for
the
clarification.
podcast.
Not me and Jake, me and Dave.
We're having a baby
Me.
and we're calling it
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. Me and Jake are having a baby. We'll call it Jake. Triple J. But yeah, no, and I was like, we were talking about names because my dad's David. He's Dave, but it's
Right.
quite that's now. I don't think you get many Daves anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like that's got to be
No, it's
a
dying off, isn't it?
that's got to be dying off. It's like the last Gary. I think the last Gary was like 29 years ago or something like.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not many Daves or Davids around anymore. And listen, although I fought the corner for that name, I don't think Louise is keen is keen to call the baby that if it's a boy. But I was saying actually really like my name. Like, I was like I
Yeah,
wouldn't call my kid Jake because I just think that'd be weird.
yeah, yeah.
But like I really like it's a pretty cool name, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's not
I
a
think
bad
so.
name.
I've always liked
Yeah.
it.
My,
Yeah,
it's, I still see it as quite a maybe like quite a young name. Like I don't know
yeah.
any Grandad Jakes or anything. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
this is the other thing I thought when I was younger. This is the confusion, right? That this whole name debacle gave me is I thought when I was younger, for that reason, I thought Jake's quite a young person's name. So
yeah.
I was like, at some point in my life, as I become an adult, I'm gonna have to make a transition to then become known as David. I would genuinely believe
Oh
that.
fuck yeah. Yeah,
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 yeah. Until I was like, obviously I figured it out relatively young, but until I was like 12-ish maybe, I always thought, well, when I'm older, I'm gonna have to
I'll just
change
be
it to
called
David.
David.
People will call me David because I'm older and it's an old person's name. But for now,
That might be what happens. That might be what happens.
well, do you know what? Funny enough, mate, now it is because everybody calls me Dave now. Because
So
of
it was,
this.
yeah, you predicted it, mate. You knew it was coming.
I know.
Maybe just not in these circumstances.
Yeah.
Um, so what are we talking about today, mate? What are we talking about?
We're talking about how we failed last year in 2024, what we missed on doing, because obviously we both set quite a lot of goals for the year so that we've got something to work towards. And I think people are very good at talking about obviously the goals that they hit, which is part and parcel of, we do it all the time. We talk about clients' goals and our goals that we've hit and everything. But I think people are really bad at just sharing the stuff that they didn't do and the stuff that, they fucked up on essentially, which we did. We had a couple of things last year, which we definitely didn't follow through on what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I might have followed through once or twice, but yeah, in terms of like,
but not with goals.
not with goals in my pants. No, I'm joking, obviously, or am I? No, but yeah, so I think this came off the back of because towards the back end of last year, me and you sat down, like, did some more goals for this year and just talked about kind of what we wanted to achieve and things. I know we did it both individually as well. And I think it's something that's quite a good exercise to do anyway, because whether it's a fitness related goal, whether it's something outside of that business, whatever it might be, it's good to actually sit down and write things down. Because when you start writing things down, you can start reverse engineering it. And this is why when someone signs up with us as a client, like we get them to outline what their goals are, and not just outline them, we get them to outline what the goals are and why they want to achieve those goals. Because I think it's all good and well. It's like for example, like when we speak to coaches and say, "Oh, what's your goal?" I want to be full. What's full? How many clients? How are we going to get there? Like it's just you can't just say random things like, "Oh, I want to be in the shape of my life." Cool. What does that look like? How are we going to get you there? And like, once you've actually got a goal written down, then you can start working backwards and start reverse engineering exactly how it is you're going to get to the place that you want to be.
Because it's the process that you have to figure out, and that's the bit that you focus on, isn't it? It's not. Yeah, that's where people go wrong. Is I want to be in great shape, or I want to have 40 clients, and then all they focus on throughout the entirety of, am I at that goal yet? Am I in shape yet? Do I have those clients? Where our point of view is we'll have the goal, reverse engineer it, and figure out, okay, if I want 40 clients, that means I need to be signing up X people per month, which means I need X amount of calls per month, talking to X amount of people per month, posting consistency. Focus on those things, because if you focus on those things, same with getting in shape. Well, if you want to lose 10 kilos, let's just focus on what do we need to do from where you are now to lose 1 kilo. How many steps do we need to do? What does our nutrition need to be training? Focus on doing those things, because if you do those things, the goal will just cover itself. Like you'll achieve.
The goal will look after itself. And actually, as cheesy as it sounds, like the learning is in the process, isn't it? Because that's where you develop habits, that's where you develop a mindset and all that kind of shit. And then that will stand you in good stead long term. Whereas, like you say, if you just wait, if I've got a goal of wanting to drop 10 kilos and I wake up every day, get on the scales, and I'm not 10 kilos lighter, I'm just going to be disappointed. You're just going to hate the process. You're not going to enjoy it. You've got to almost kind of bypass that, look past it to a certain extent, and just be like, okay, well, cool. I'll just because I've not dropped 10 kilos overnight, nothing changes. Like you still just go and do your steps, hit your protein targets, hit your calories, and over time, trust the process that you will get there, because you will do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we failed in a couple of areas. I mean, we did all right as well. Like there were some areas we probably excelled in, maybe a little bit more, which is probably why we then failed in other areas as well, because the places that we maybe did better in took up a bit more time to take away from what we failed in.
Yeah.
So we did some stuff pretty well. I mean, we spoke about it last episode, so we won't kind of dwell on it too much, but obviously we had the photo shoots, which were huge. And already this year, we're probably looking to get more people through photo shoots, which is pretty cool. We sold out 2 blitzes. Client numbers wise, like we were the busiest we've ever been combined, like without a shadow of a doubt. So, like generally speaking, I think it was it was a really, really positive year. But there was a few things, and I remember where we did it. I remember we were sat down in Nottingham. Do you remember?
We were, in the prep.
Yeah, in prep after the shoot, after the winter shoot, wasn't it? I mean, you did that shoot as well. We sat down after the shoot and we just kind of mapped out some goals for this year in terms of like content. So we were thinking about vlogs for YouTube, podcasts, all this kind of stuff. And we, similar to what we just said, like we wrote it down, and we said, right, this is how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. And we didn't manage to do it. We didn't manage to do it.
I think we had a goal of doing 1 challenge a month, didn't we? And then doing like at least one of our independent vlogs a month as well. So 24 videos across the year, which isn't a lot. I know for myself, I think you did a few more than me, but I know for myself, including the 4 challenges that we actually did out of 12, I think I did a total of like 10 videos last year out of 24, which is...
I don't even think I did that, mate. I think I did because I only started vlogging last year, and weirdly, I enjoy it as well, but I find vlogging's one of those things, once you've fallen out of the rhythm, it's really hard to get it back, right? But yeah, so I think I did about 5 or 6 total for last year, maybe.
We're about similar then.
Yeah. But
I
we,
think with little things like one of our goals was to obviously we wanted to do the challenges, which was like we'll alternate, we'll do a training challenge, then we'll do a food challenge, and we'll have like we'll go against each other and we'll keep a score. But it became clear pretty quickly that people don't care about the training challenges. People just want to see
yeah,
like more entertaining food challenge style stuff.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
straight away we were like, well, we don't. There's no point doing the training ones then because nobody really gives a shit about watching it.
Yeah, I think that's it, and like you learn from these experiences. Obviously, that's the whole point, right? You kind of look at the data and you go, okay, what are people enjoying, and then we can tweak it from there. But like people loved the food challenge that we did at the
Yeah,
start of the year, and even the carnivore challenge that did really really well as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something else that we can do. But the ones which kind of I would say perform the best in terms of like feedback and things were the hot ones
Yeah.
and the 5,000 calories in
20,
25
20
minutes.
minutes, 20, 25
20
minutes. Yeah, yeah, we did it.
25 minutes. And that was literally last January. So that's a
Mad,
year
innit?
ago that we did that, which is
I've
pretty
gone so
mental.
quick.
Yeah. So our goals this year, to resurrect that, is we are gonna obviously like baby pending. It could
Well,
be
this
a
is the
challenge.
other thing because obviously we had another goal of putting a podcast out every single week last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got to late August, September, I think, maybe early October, and
Maybe, yes, around that time, yeah.
then stopped posting them purely, and that's purely down to me because obviously Lilo arrived right at the end of September. And it just meant I couldn't get across to Manchester to film them in the studio. Just didn't have the time. So we did not
Yeah.
post any until literally just a couple of weeks ago in December. So that was like the other one that we failed at. But again, that wasn't just down to couldn't be asked. It was life did happen.
Legitimate reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, to get away. It wasn't as though like I physically couldn't get to Manchester to film the podcast. But so we've got a similar problem this year a little bit, haven't we? But it should be easier with this format now.
Yeah.
We've not got
That's
the
it.
same that goal again. We'll talk about it. I don't think we've set the definitive strict goal of one every single week this year, have we?
No. And I think this is the thing, right? Because again, like most people, if they don't achieve a goal, like they'll just try and do the same things over
Yeah,
and over again in order to achieve the goal. Whereas actually, you probably need to adjust, change the expectations a little bit. So for us this year, like realistically, I can get my camera out now and I can start vlogging. Like vlogging is something that we can do, like pretty much any time you fucking want, right? So we're going to do more vlogging, like for sure. And I think we've set a target of getting 1 to 2 vlogs out each per month, right? So that's, we should be getting out, what, 20, potentially kind of 20 vlogs each. That'll be like 40 videos across the course of the year, which
yeah,
again should be very achievable. We'll hold each other accountable to this as well. So we're going to have a call at the start of every month to make sure we're doing the things that we've said we're going to do. We're going to try one challenge per month, which again should be achievable. We just need to be a little bit more organized, a little bit more on the ball. Again, challenging this month because we've got the baby and there's a load of stuff going on at the moment with that. So it's just like figuring that out, but we will get them done. And then the podcast, I think we said rather than like one every single week, we said minimum of 2 per month. So realistically, kind of like one every other week, which again, it just makes things a bit more realistic. But I think something we really want to do is grow that the long form content side of things in it.
yeah.
Like, it's something that's a big thing for us. So like more podcasts, more YouTubes. I think, and it'd be interesting to hear like what most people think about this, but there's only so much you can get from short form content in there. Like, from watching a real 60 seconds, 30 seconds, like there's only so much you can actually learn from someone or understand or get to know that person. Whereas if you're watching a 20-minute vlog or a 15-minute video or a half-an-hour challenge or something, you're going to get to know those people a lot more. So that's our kind of thinking around that as well.
Yeah, definitely. That just gives us an opportunity to put across us as just people and our personality a bit more, but also just like how we work, kind of what we stand for. And I think it's useful because I know I've had it before where people have inquired about coaching and whilst they've been like away on holiday or something. And, often you'll get, oh, is there anything I can look through whilst I'm away before we get back for the call? And usually it's like, you've got like a welcome pack or information. And honestly, I just send them podcast episodes or a few vlogs because I'm like, you'll learn more from those about what I'm like and how I coach and sort of what I stand for and what I do than you will from just a boring information pack that's just this is coaching, this is a check-in, this is like it's pointless.
Yeah.
So they are really useful in that sense, I think, as well.
Yeah. So if you're a coach and you're listening or you're watching, long form content this year. But we've kind of been saying that all along, like documenting your journey, stuff like that. Like it's really fucking important. And yeah, I just think a lot of coaches are missing a trick with not doing the long form stuff for sure. But get consistent at your short form first, because some coaches are hopeless at that.
Yeah, so we've got the goal of more vlogs this year, haven't we? And getting those out and having more fun with the challenges and hopefully getting a few of those out. And then obviously podcast wise, we've just kind of said a couple a month, really, haven't we? Every other week, I think it'd be a nice
Yeah,
little.
two a month we've said, haven't we? So two a
Yeah,
month, which
much
is
more
again
manageable.
pretty realistic. And especially now we've got this set up where we can just come online and do it, like it's much easier.
And
Although
I'm
someone
listening back to like the posted ones, and I think the audio's fine, isn't it? It's not as crisp as when we're in the studio, but it's
it's
fine.
pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good. I think I just want to get some soundboards in here because it's still just a little bit echoey. But once I've got
yeah.
that in, like it should be sound. One of my mates, you listen to it, he listens to every single podcast, and he did say, listen to your last episode. He was like, he said too much good advice and not enough clickbait advice. So maybe we need to get a little bit more clickbaity.
You need to go down the Stephen Bartlett route and just go clickbait,
Yeah,
100% clickbait.
yeah. But yeah,
With
no. So
the,
they're kind of the goals. Obviously, from outside of that, from a coaching perspective, like as daft as it sounds, like nothing really changes, does it? Because it's all going extremely well there. Like,
this, I think that's it. It's like we don't have any big grand goals. It's just keep being consistent with what we're already doing, right? And that's funny enough, we'll do an episode on this probably at some point, but that's the same with our training and our nutrition. You know, there's no right, it's new year, so there's a big kick again. We're going to change our training up, we're going to change our nutrition, we've got a new diet approach, we're going to
although I
start.
am changing my training slightly.
Well, all right, you are, but you've got a specific reason for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just no, it's just more of the same. Like what we've been doing in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24 with ourselves, with clients, has been working to get us and those guys into great shape, right? So why change it?
Yeah.
We just, it's a new year, it's rinse and repeat. Apart from you doing your stupid bloody high rocks.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna rope you into a doubles, mate.
not.
I reckon I'll do the singles, and you'll be like, no, I fancy that. And you know,
I'll come on the day to sit in the stands and just like throw veg at you whilst you're running or something, or throw popcorn at you. But that's about it.
but no, you're right. Like nothing changes. So like with our, like you said, with our own training, our own nutrition, like I mean, obviously we've probably indulged a little bit over the Christmas period, as everybody has. But like, even there, like, not much change for me. Like, I was still eating the same breakfast, lunches. Yeah, maybe going out for more meals, having more drinks, and maybe having a little cheese board here and there. But generally speaking, like, once you get to a point of realizing what works, you don't need to keep changing things. And you
No.
know, and again, one of my mates messaged me. He's like, he's one of these where he's always on Instagram, but he doesn't actually post anything. But he's a lurker. Like
Yeah.
he sees everything. And I think I said to you, didn't I, last year? I was like, he's one of my clients as well, and he said to me like, I don't see anyone posting the results that you and Jake do. Like no other coach.
Yeah.
And trust me, when I say he spends a lot of time on social media, so like I know he's looking at loads of coaches, and it's like, okay, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Like we don't need to change an approach which is fucking working as well as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the only other big goal I set for this year. Was I think last year I personally put through, including Blitz and one-to-one clients, I think it was 37 people through the photo shoot process,
Yeah.
whether that's as part of a group or just on their own. So this year I've pushed the boat and be like, I'd like to get 50. That might be a bit of a tall order because it's quite a big jump. But that's my goal for this year, is to push up towards 50. And even then, like I said in the vlog I did, like that's still only like 30-40% of our actual like total client base of the guys we work with and the results.
Oh yeah.
Other clients are getting in shape for like holidays, for weddings, just for general life. They're playing
Yep.
sports, all these kind of things. Goals that, you know, where we don't, although we talk about it a lot, we don't sit here saying a photo shoot is the be all and end all. Everybody should do them. It's the gold standard of fitness. It's just the thing that we enjoy doing and we, you know,
Yep.
we're pretty good at. But any of goal that our clients has, whether it's getting in shape for a wedding or whatever it is, like it's just as important. And in some cases, it's just as, if not more impressive, depending on the start point and what they're up against.
100%, and maybe something we're not that good at talking about. But again, it's like, you know, our niche to a certain extent is working with people who want to go down the photo shoot style route, whether they do a photo shoot or not, but that kind of transformation, should we say. And like, we enjoy it. Again, I think that's something that's really important to understand, is that we actually enjoy taking people through that process, and we've done it ourselves and we've enjoyed it ourselves, and we know how good it feels to go through that. So I think that's why we kind of own in on that, really. But that's another thing. Like, I mean, I've got clients who last year did like half marathons. I know you had a guy do like an Ironman and shit. Like, what?
Yeah.
Was it an ultra, something like that?
So yeah, I've had Joe, who's done a couple of triathlons and marathons, and then Sam did an ultra marathon, which was like 50 miles over the Yorkshire Peaks, which is, it's hard enough to do 50 miles on flat. He did it over.
No, yeah,
Ridiculous. Like, and he didn't even bat an eye. And this is so. I think this set me up for a false sense of security when we started doing some running at the back end of last year to prep for the marathon.
Yeah.
We obviously weren't able to end up doing. he would check in with me, or not even check in, he'd just message me some mornings at like 10 a.m. and he'd be like, oh yeah, pretty good this morning. Like, just got up, just gone and done a marathon this morning for training. So in my head, I'm like, well, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, Sam's got up
Yeah,
and
it's
just
just like it's like he's done a fucking 5K. Yeah.
literally without batting an eyelid. And then he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm training this afternoon type thing. So I'm like, can't be that difficult then. Like, Sam doesn't seem like it's, and that's not saying Sam's not a class runner because he obviously is, but it was just like, seems pretty comfortable. So when we started running, I think the highest I worked up to was, I did over a half, but just over. I can't remember what it was wise. But mate, I did two of them, and that was like the most painful thing.
It is brutal. It is brutal. But yeah, no, again, like that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I've got clients who again did hierarchies and stuff. One of the reasons I'm kind of doing a hierarchy is to throw myself in at the deep end as well and learn a little bit more. Like I've been programming for people, I've been helping people with the nutrition around it. So it's only kind of right that I should probably do something like that myself. And you know what? To be fair, I'm enjoying the mix up in training as well. Like it is actually it's quite good fun, you know. It is quite good fun.
I'll take your word for it. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm
fucking roping you in, mate.
So it's basically the same thing.
What's that?
I used to enjoy sports day at school, innit? And it's basically
it's literally that, mate. It's literally that. But yeah, so we've got a few things planned. But like I say, from a coaching standpoint, like we won't be changing much. It's more content, isn't it? It's more behind the scenes.
That's why we wanted to do this, was just so that you know what to expect from us. This year is going to be, more consistency with vlogs, with challenges, and this podcast, just not more consistent with the podcast. I think over the average, we probably posted more than once every 2 weeks last year, because we still did like 63 episodes on back to back.
We put up some stats, then we got some stats through, and this is not even including YouTube. So this is just Spotify actually, and like Buzzsprout, and it was like we were in like the top, I think it was like top 10% of podcasts or something like that. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's not like we're getting crazy amounts of downloads, but it's pretty cool. We've got on Spotify now. We've got I think we've got about 16 reviews. They're all 5-star, which is pretty good. Like I've not asked anyone to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's cool.
We're creeping up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as well.
That's what I mean. Creeping up to 1,000, and that's going up all the time. So basically, we're telling you now. We're giving you a heads up that we are going to be famous by the end of the year.
This is essentially getting on the ground. If you want any autographs now, drop us a message.
Now's your time.
Email us directly. We'll send you some merch out. We'll sign whatever you want now, because in a couple of years' time, that shit on eBay is going to go for something.
But yeah, no. So we thought, and it's also a bit of accountability in it. Like if we come on here and we fucking say it and we publish this online, like we've got to stick to it.
Well, yeah. So you haven't seen the vlog I've put up, have you, this morning?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it when I'm walking the dog.
If I was you, I'd watch it, because I've signed you up for something at the end of it.
Oh, fucking
hell. So what I said on that, but for that reason, for some public accountability, I have said, if me and you collectively don't get out 24 videos on YouTube this year as a combination of vlogs and challenges, then we will do some form of forfeit in December if we don't do it. And that can be decided by people listening to this or people on YouTube. So I said in the video on YouTube, like, comment below.
We'll have to pull it. We'll have to pull that.
We'll have to pull it. Like, comment. People can give us ideas what they want the forfeit to be. Obviously, nothing illegal. All right. Let's keep it above board. But bar that, anything goes, I've said, and we will both do it. And if the forfeit turns out to be that
that's dangerous.
Humid.
Yeah, okay, sound. I'm up for that. That's fair. And yeah, apart from that, I think that's kind of it, isn't it? You're starting a diet next week. Well, not a diet, but like a little bit of a mini cut next week, aren't you?
6-week tidy up. So the 6-week free coaching thing that I've got, soft to shredded, that's literally 6 weeks of free fat loss coaching. I'm just going to put myself through that, and I'm going to document the whole thing every single week. What targets I'm giving, what my training looks like, what changes I see in 6 weeks' time. And it's just because I've been gaining for 13 months now, coming on 14 months. So I'm just going to do a quick 6 week tidy. A little tidy up. And
something that we do with our clients a lot, I think, first of all, that's kind of testament to how long an actual gaining phase takes. So I think a lot of guys and girls will assume that, you gain for a couple of months. Like you're getting nowhere with that. Like you've got to put some real time and effort into gaining, and it should be gradual. I think, to be fair, I've seen your pictures, like you've really not gained much body fat at all. But how much are you up in terms of scale weight? Like
I'm literally up 13 kilos since the shoot. So I've basically put on a kilo a month.
Yeah, which is really, again, that's just steady in it. They'll steady rate, and that, for some people might even still be a little bit too fast. But like that's you've done this before, you know your body, you've trialed it, you've run this many, many times. But it's good for people to see how long it actually takes, you know. But yeah, a little bit of a tidy up, mate, will do you no harm, obviously. And like you say, it's good for people to see like how good that free resource is, because I know I've got a similar one as well. Mine's 4 weeks, yours is 6 weeks. Like it's literally free coaching for 4 or 6 weeks, however you want to go about it, and it does get results as well. So it'll be good for people to see it, and then they can give it a bash themselves.
It's literally like I'm not going to change anything from what it gives me because it'll give me my calories, my protein, my steps, my cardio, my training, and it changes it every 2 weeks as well. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to do what it tells me to do, and I'm just going to document the
See what the
results.
results are. Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I do need to trim up a little bit myself, like not drastically, but I was 92.7 this morning.
Yeah.
I did have an absolutely huge number two afterwards, so maybe there was I was probably hanging on to a little bit of additional food in the digestive system. But yeah, I think for me, like that's so from the photo shoot that I think I was 81, so I'm about 11 kilos up. And again, that's all, it's been gradual. I had a little bit of a mini cut in there as well, but it's been very kind of gradual. And bearing in mind, I'm heavier than you anyway, so it's probably been a little bit slower on the percentage side of things. But yeah, so for me, for High Rocks, my goal is to, if I can get down to around about 86, like just to be a bit like just a bit quicker on my feet, because I feel heavy. Do you know what I mean when I'm running? And my running fitness is actually really good. It's probably better now than what it was when we were doing the kind of marathon prep. Like, honestly, I'm feeling really, really good from a running standpoint because I have just upped my conditioning a lot. But yeah, so my goal is we can get down to about 85, 86 for the High Rocks. I reckon I'll be basically setting a world record. Do you know?
Basically, yeah. It'll be a fun
a world record for me, right? It's going to be a PB anyway because it's my first time.
That's true. That's a good way of looking at it. I'm going to hit a PB. So,
yeah, PB.
Yeah, I think that's it, mate, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. So you can all hold us accountable to the things that we've said. And if you've got any ridiculous ideas which are legal and don't involve us getting our genitalia out in public, then
unless it's a hot day, then it's fine. But if it's a cold day, not a chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it right now. It's pretty bright at the moment. My little guy doesn't need to get any littler, that's for sure.
Let us know your forfeits and like, subscribe, all that shit.
Like, subscribe, follow along for the journeys, follow along for Jake's little fat loss cut, follow on for my High Rocks prep, and let's see how we get on.
All right, we'll catch you in the next one.
Treat. See you in a bit, guys.